Picture this. Gold bars, glittering in dark vaults. Inflation warnings flashing across TV screens. Banks collapsing one by one. And suddenly the question drops. What happens if America, the most powerful country on earth, tries to link its money to real gold again? And what if Donald Trump is quietly preparing a 2027 financial reset that could shake every currency on the planet? This isn't conspiracy. This isn't fiction. Watch closely, because in the next few minutes, you're going to see how Trump's comments about sound money, his advisors pushing a gold-backed dollar, and the global shift away from the US currency all connect into one explosive timeline. And here's the crazy part. If the dollar returns to gold, everything, your savings, your loans, global markets, world power changes overnight. Nixon ended the gold standard in 1971. But what if the comeback is already being planned behind closed doors, with inflation rising, debt exploding, and BRICS building commodity-backed systems? The idea doesn't sound impossible anymore. It sounds strategic, and hidden in the background is a theory almost no one talks about. A silent reset window between 2025 and 2027. A transition that won't be announced until the very last moment. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may completely change the way you see the future of money. Trump's comments about sound money weren't random. They were breadcrumbs. Tiny hints dropped across speeches, interviews, debates, each pointing toward a possible return to gold. But here's the part most viewers miss. Several of Trump's closest advisors, past and present, openly support a gold-backed currency. These aren't small voices. These are people who write policy. People who influence the Federal Reserve. And if you connect their statements over the last 5 years, a pattern appears. A direction. Plan. Or at least, the shadow of a plan. And this chapter sets the tone, because once you see the signals, you can't unsee them. Why gold is back in the conversation. Why is everyone suddenly talking about gold again? Simple. The world is losing trust in paper money. Inflation is rising. Debt is exploding. And countries like China, Russia, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia are moving toward commodity-backed systems. The dollar is still king, but it's bleeding confidence. That's why the idea of a gold-backed currency feels less crazy today than it did 10 years ago. It feels like a comeback story waiting to happen. But the twist is this. Gold isn't returning because the US wants it. It's returning because global pressure is forcing the conversation, and America may have to react. How a gold standard would actually work. Imagine this. Every dollar in the system must be backed by real gold. Sounds simple, right? Ite? Not. The moment you link the dollar to gold, everything becomes limited money printing, government spending, bank lending. The Federal Reserve loses its power to create money, and that changes the entire financial ecosystem. Credit shrinks. Interest rates spike. Savings become more valuable. But here's the hook. Such a system would force America to live within its means for the first time in decades. Supporters call it discipline. Critics call it economic suicide. The truth. It's both. Reset. With massive consequences. The hidden 2025 to 2027 reset window. Economic resets don't happen overnight. They happen quietly, in phases, hidden behind bureaucratic language and financial reforms. And that's exactly why analysts point to a 2025 to 2027 window. This is the period where debt restructuring, Fed reforms, digital currency testing, and gold reserve audits could align into a silent reset. No official announcement, no dramatic policy speech. Just gradual steps toward a new system. The scary part? You won't notice the reset until it's already here. Most people won't realize what happened until buying power collapses, or the dollar mysteriously reformed. And that's why this window matters so much. Global shockwaves. The world reacts. If the US returns to gold, the world won't stay calm. China has been hoarding gold for years. Russia. BRICS nations want a gold or commodity-backed trading system. So, if America suddenly goes gold-backed, global markets explode with volatility. Currencies crash. Gold prices skyrocket. Investors panic. Nations scramble to adjust. And here's the twist. Some countries will benefit massively, while others collapse instantly. It becomes a global currency war. Only peacetime. The battlefield is gold reserves. The world has been preparing for this moment quietly, and Trump's plan could be the spark that ignites everything. Winners and losers in a gold-backed America. Not everyone survives a gold standard. The winners are clear. Gold holders, savers, and countries with strong reserves. Their wealth skyrockets overnight. But the losers, anyone relying on debt, governments, banks, corporations, even households with mortgages, credit becomes expensive. Borrowing dries up. Stock markets get shaky. But here's the twist. A gold standard creates long-term stability while causing short-term chaos. People will panic before they adapt. And in that chaos, power shifts. Wealth reshuffles. Entire industries collapse, while others boom. The change won't be fair, but it will be historic. And almost no one is prepared for the transition. The barriers. Why this is harder than it sounds, returning to the gold standard, sounds bold. But the obstacles are massive. The US doesn't have enough gold to back the existing money supply. Political opposition would be brutal. Wall Street would resist. The Federal Reserve would lose power. And here is the biggest challenge. Introducing a gold standard too quickly could trigger a recession that spirals into a depression. That's why, if a reset happens, it will be partial first, like a digital currency partially pegged to gold. A hybrid system, a slow transition. Something that looks stable but hides the true costs beneath the surface. What it means for ordinary people now. Imagine how this affects you. Savings become more stable. Prices slowly fall. But jobs become harder to find. Credit becomes a luxury. Buying a house or starting a business gets tougher. People with cash thrive. People with debt suffer. And that's the core of this reset. Rewards discipline and punishes dependency. But here is the storyline twist. If you understand the shift early, you can adapt before everyone else. The gold standard isn't just a policy change. It's a lifestyle change, and for millions of people it could be the moment that defines their financial future forever. So, what does all of this mean for you, right now? A gold-backed reset could be coming quietly, reshaping money, markets, and power before most people even notice. Your savings, your investments, your ability to borrow or spend it, could all shift overnight. The winners will thrive, the unprepared will struggle, and the global balance of power could be rewritten in months. And here's the cliffhanger. No official announcement, no warning, just a slow, invisible march toward a new financial reality. The question is simple. Will you be ready when the 2027 reset silently arrives? Or will you be left scrambling behind everyone else?